Hey everyone, Dumont Owen here. I'm on, I think, a minute early, but I wanted to get on here because there's a bit of housekeeping to do. If you're on LinkedIn, I have the what? Okay. Okay, it should be showing on LinkedIn. It says it's not live on LinkedIn. Oh, now I'm seeing it. Okay, good. Anyway, if you are on Facebook, if you want me to see your comments, I have directions in the chat, and I also have directions for how to make your chat visible and your comments visible on LinkedIn. So I want to make sure you have that information. It does look like we are streaming on both sites. If anybody can hear me, would you just let me do a quick chat sound check for me and let me know that that you're there and that you can hear me, that I'm coming through? New comments. Okay, let's see. Oh, Mike. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. And I know that we have a lot of people signed up, and some of you are live, and some of you are planning to see the recording. So if you're on the recording, if you're going to be on the recording, the replay, welcome. And if you're here live, why don't you give me an idea of your name and where you're from? Okay. I just love to know who's listening. Okay. All right. Well, let's just get started because, hey, Mike, you're here, and I know there are a couple of people that are here every week, but we may be having a problem. We just moved to Thursdays at 5, and we're going to check out this time slot and see how it works. And if it doesn't, hey, Cindy. Virginia. Where in Virginia? I lived in Lynchburg for a while, and my mother was raised in Richmond. And I worked in the DC area for a while. So Virginia's dear to my heart. Anyway, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows there is a worksheet that you can download. I have it right up yeah, right here. It actually shows up a couple of times. So if you didn't get it, you can download it now, or just watch and take notes, and I will get you the replay, the slides, and the resources. So you're not going to lose out. Okay, we're getting more comments. Oh, Amherst. Okay. All right. Very cool. Okay. So anyway, today we are going to be talking about how to build a LinkedIn profile that sells. And that is how do you access the worksheet, Gloria? If you look up in the chat, I have it. I have the worksheet URL posted, so you should be able to either click on that or just copy it and post it in your browser, and you should be able to get it. So your LinkedIn profile is probably the most important piece to start with. And that's why, even though I'm a strategist, I always start with the profile because no matter what you're doing, people are going to check out your profile. If you make a comment in the news feed, and they like what they saw, they're going to check out your profile. If if you invite them to connect, they are going to check out your profile. Whatever strategies you're using, your profile has to be really right before they will connect with you or engage with you or start messaging with you or follow you. So everything you do goes back to that profile. So the purpose of your profile is not only to attract the right people, and this is important to remember. You want your profile to attract the right people and repel the wrong people. Okay? When somebody visits your profile, it's a matter of seconds, okay? Literally seconds in which they're going to make their decision, and right in the realm between 4 and 7 seconds. So you want the people that you're trying to attract to be able to look at your profile and say, "Oh, I'm home." And you want the other people to look at it and say, "Nah, not interested," because you don't want it to appeal to everyone. It's that old concept of a jack of all trades. When you're talking about LinkedIn, a jack of all trades isn't going to do you much good. You cannot appeal to everyone. If you do, you will appeal to no one. So that's one of the things that's really important to realize about your LinkedIn profile. It has to be targeted, and you have to know your niche. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's see, we've got more comments coming in. Hey, Cindy, it's not at the top of your chat. Okay, let me. Oh, I know how I can get it. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay, I've got the come on. There we go. Okay, there you go. That should show up for you now. So, okay, Cindy's here, Gloria's here, Deborah's here. Oh, Deborah Tudor. Debbie, how are you? You're on my list of people that I want to contact very shortly. So, because you took my class and so much has changed, I want you just to take it for free. And let's see. Cindy is, no, who's Debbie? Cindy. Okay, I just reposted it for you guys, so you should be able to see that. Okay, so without further ado, I am going to share my screen and get started with the slides. But I want you to know that you can keep going, and there are certain things that you're going to really want to write down. So even if you don't download the worksheet, I'm going to be guiding you along the way and say, write this down. So let's get going. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, hold on just one second. Okay. Okay. You should be able to see that now. So I'm just going to go. Okay. So unfortunately, when I'm doing it this way, I can't see you. So I'm going to, hold on. It's not letting me do it that way. Hang on a second. Okay. I ran into this problem before. The screens don't show up as well And so I'm getting this full screen thing, and it's not letting me. Okay, I'm just going to stop at various times through and check messages because it's not letting me do it any other way. So hold on. Okay, so first of all, we're going to cover a number of things, and so I want to kind of give you a preview where your profile sits in terms of a LinkedIn lead generation system, because you want your profile to be, be one of the stops in there, but it is not the whole part of your lead generation system. So I want to show you where that falls. Okay. I'm going to give you some general guidelines that you'll want to keep in mind as you're creating your profile. We're going to look at branded content because the fastest way that you can access or you can get new clients on LinkedIn is by promoting your brand. So it's and we're not going to go a lot into branding today, but I am going to show you, I'm having a free workshop on the last Friday of the month, and I'm going to show you how to access that and register for that. And that's going to be a master class. That's a 3-hour master class where we will go into how you create a powerful brand and how you promote it on LinkedIn. Okay, I'm just going to give you some good general tips. And then I'm going to tell you how you can get more help for your profile, because if you stay to the end, I do have a profile checklist that's free that you can opt into, and it will also send you, over the next few days after you opt into that, some tips on how to make it even better. So I'm going to show you that. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dumont Owen. Dumont I was named after my grandfather. So if you haven't heard of somebody with the first name, I think there are only 2 of us that I've been able to find in the world right now. That's probably the most unique thing, because I can never say, oh no, it wasn't me, it was the other Dumont, So I also have a master's in counseling, and I'm a former 7th grade English teacher. And most of the people that I ask whether it's more important to them that I have a PhD or whether it's more important that I was a 7th grade English teacher, they go for the 7th grade English teacher because we actually learn how to teach more clearly. Okay, and I'm a master personal brand strategist and digital branding strategist, and I'm a LinkedIn coach and trainer. And I also have certifications in executive and leadership coaching and career management coaching. So, basically, I am a brand strategist, but I specialize in helping those of you who are coaches, consultants, or professional services providers get more clients on LinkedIn. So, this is the first part. Now, I just want you to write down the 4 steps, the 4 parts of a LinkedIn lead generation system. That first step is clarity. And that's clarity about your goals. And I mean, your LinkedIn goals should be based on your business goals. And since it's a brand new year, you can start off on the right foot. You want to get really, really clear on who your target audience is, at least. You can get even clearer if you want to get down to who your, all the demographics and psychographics of your niche. But if you haven't gotten that specific yet, at least know who your target audience is, so that you can, as I said, so you can attract them and repel the people who aren't in your target audience. And I know it feels like you're cutting off, one of your arms when you say, oh, but I did have a client, who was this at one time. Well, yeah, but who is your real client? Is it a company? And if so, what kind of company? Is it, it's a certain kind of individual? You need to be clear on that. And you also need to be clear on your personal brand, because as I said, that promoting that is the fastest way you're going to build a following and connect and build your network and get new clients. Okay, we are talking about the second stage today. Oh, and one thing about clarity, this is where clarity is what leads to your strategy. So I want you to remember that clarity leads to strategy. Okay, awareness. Now, this is where you build your profile so that people are going to become aware of you. We talk about content marketing in this area, particularly in terms of your profile, as we would be tonight, in terms of, what kind of content do you want? And I am not going to go into that tonight because that's another workshop called Creator Mode. And I talk about how to add multimedia and images and all those kinds of things. So that's a separate one, but I want you to know it's out there. And then automation. And by automation, I don't mean those bots that try and sell people something. I think we're all sick of accepting, a request to connect, and then we get slammed with a sales pitch. Yeah, those are bots, and I find them particularly obnoxious. What I'm talking about in terms of automation is, you can send out recent articles that you did, and there are some kinds of automation that will let you do that or let you invite people to connect. But I am totally 100% against hitting people with premature sales pitches, with a bot. It's not a good practice. I disconnect from them, and I know a lot of people do. Okay, lead generation is the third piece. And that involves prospecting, knowing how to find the exact right people that you need, connecting with them, and knowing how to do that properly so that they are going to respond to you. And then finally, nurturing. And by that, I mean, getting into that dialogue with them where you're having a conversation, because that conversation, those direct messages going back and forth, are how you build that relationship based on mutual trust and respect. And that's what leads to the fourth stage, and that's sales. And analysis is in that fourth stage too. Whoops. Trigger happy here. Analysis is in that fourth stage too, because you want to go back and see how well your strategy and everything you're doing is working. So you want to check the metrics related to your goals, and those you set up in that clarity, in that first section. So clarity is what people skip, and it is so vital. Everything else is built on that, your brand, your goals, and your niche. Okay, so a few guidelines here, and I want you to have written down what your brand is, and then I'm going to go through guidelines, and then I'm going to check and see, if there are some questions. So I want you to know about these guidelines. First, it's not about you. It's about them. And I know that we all want to have people know what our fabulous, credentials are, and why we are the person to help them. But when people are looking at your profile, their first question is, what's in it for me? Are you the person who's going to help me? So you have to talk about them to start with. You have to let them know that you understand their problems and challenges. Then you can present your solutions, but you have to lead off with them. Secondly, now this is not always the case, but I really strongly urge you to write it in the first person, using I, or if you're writing from the point of view of a business, we. And I suggest that because you want people to feel like they're in a dialogue with you when they land on your profile. Okay, so you want to write it in the first person. Now, if you're an author, or if you are in an industry where, it's very common for people to write about themselves in the third person, that can be an exception. But for most of us, writing in the first person is the best choice. And then, related to that first point, and I want you to really write this down. You want to address their problems and challenges. If you remember nothing else, remember that. Then you spotlight your solutions. You focus on the results. We don't lead with process. We lead with results. What are you going to get from me, from my program, or from my solutions? What are those results? Because that's what people are interested in. And then finally, you want to provide guidance with the call to action. You want to tell them the next step that they can take to get to know you better. And that might be subscribe to my newsletter. That might be, schedule a free consultation. It might be follow me, on LinkedIn. There are a number of ways, or download my free gift. I usually suggest that you put the consultation later, a little bit later in the process. But you can, if you're a consultant, then that's probably the right next step. Some people are very hesitant to do that because they figure that free consult is an opportunity to sell. They know what you're going to do. However, a free consultation can be very beneficial. You just have to be upfront with it and say, is it okay? This is how I run my consultations. And, at the end, if it's okay with you, I'd like to prevent a few solutions if I have them, and so you can do it that way. Now, the one thing about your call to action is that you only want one. If you say download my newsletter, or subscribe to, subscribe to my newsletter or download my free gift, they don't do either. Research shows that if you give people two choices in this, they won't do either. So you can have every single call to action you want. You can just do them in other sections, like your experience section. You can have another call to action there. So, and each one of your experience sections. So we'll talk about that. Okay, I am going to just briefly check in here and see comments and see if we've got any questions at this point. I will also send you guys the link to the worksheet tomorrow. Or when we send out the replay. So you're going to get that. It's also posted, if you're on LinkedIn, it's posted in the chat on LinkedIn too. So there are a number of places that you can get it. Any other questions at this point? Okay. Oh, hi, Alexi. It keeps on repeating dialogue. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Okay. I'm just going to go back to the presentation, but keep letting me know. All right. So wait a second. Where did it go? Okay. Share screen. Why is it not? Okay, wait a second. Okay. Play from current slide. Okay. So the next thing, and this is important for you to know, I'm not going to go a lot into how you create a brand tonight, but I am going to go into the 6 characteristics of a powerful brand because they really carry over to a lot of things about your profile. So for starters, a powerful brand differentiates yourself and differentiates you from your competitors. And I'm going to show you in a minute, when we talk about your headline, why that's important. But a powerful brand will show up in your headline. It's going to show up in your about section. So you want to really be aware of what you stand for, what your values and your purpose and your strengths and all those things are, and who your niche is. Secondly, it needs to be authentic because your brand is a promise to other people. and it's a promise of what you deliver. It's also authentic because you always want to be talking as the same person. You should be, you should always be who you are. It's very hard to imitate someone else, and it won't ring true. So you really want to be authentic. Thirdly, it expresses your point of view. So, it's when you see something in your news feed or any place else, or or you're writing your about section, you really want to make sure that, you are true to your point of view. For instance, I just shared part of my point of view about, how you build relationships, and that's probably not with a bot. Okay, so you want to express your point of view. You want to tell your brand story. Now, there are different kinds of brand stories. Some are how you overcame something that your clients are facing. For instance, if you're a weight loss coach, you might want to talk about, your struggles to overcome it. Then then what you did, that's when you get into solutions. So you want people to be able to identify with you. But it may be, something else. For instance, in my story, it's not that I struggled with LinkedIn as much as I had a physical situation that caused me to lose a year of my life. And in that year, I lost my business. So I had to make money fast, and I investigated and said, LinkedIn is the place. So that's how I built my business back. So you want to be sure that you tell your story. Another thing that, another aspect of your brand is that you want it to be compelling so that your ideal clients will take the next step. And then finally, you want it to really speak to your niche, or at least your target audience. And I spoke to that. So be sure that you're either taking notes on this, or that you're writing it down, because that's really going to be important. Okay, so let's go through some of the different sections of your profile and talk about how you can optimize it. So the first thing you're going to do is optimize your content information or contact information. And if you don't know how to do that, there will be a little pencil right beside. It's kind of right to the right of your headline, and it says, contact, or when you hover over it, it'll say contact information. So the couple of things that I want you to be aware of here is that you can see at the top of that, mine says linkedin.com-in-Dumont Owen, or not dash, /. And if you have not customized this, it's just going to have a bunch of gobbledygook there, numbers and symbols and all that kind of thing. And you want to change that to your name, because that's how people find you. It will really make it a lot easier to find you. You also can have up to 3 websites. Now, at this time, you can see that when I took this picture, I had a Facebook group, and it was talking about personal branding. I do still have a small group on Facebook. I am not a Facebook fan. I need to be very clear about that. In fact, I loathe Facebook, but I do stream there because some of you are coming from my group or have followed me on Facebook. So I had that. I also now have, I have my calendar link there. And I also have a landing page. You can put a landing page for one of your programs. So that's really important to keep in mind. You can put your phone number. A lot of people are hesitant. That's a personal decision. If you're working out of your home, maybe you don't want people to have that address. You can also, I would highly recommend that you have your email there, though. And if you have a Twitter handle, you can put that there. And you can also put your birthday, and you don't have to put the year. Okay. So if you're worried that people are going to think you're too young or too old, You don't have to worry about that. So that is your contact information. Now there's also your branded content, and we just talked about how important that is. So what are the first two things that people see when they come to your profile? It's going to be your banner, right, and then your picture. And in this you can see my banner, and these things move around quite a bit. One of the things that I really like to tell people is that you can have a branded banner and build it. And if you don't have a graphic designer, you can go to Canva and just search for LinkedIn banners. It has them. They're the right measurements exactly, and they will, and you can actually take those and customize those to your brand colors, put your logo or the name of your company or a program that you have, and that can all be right there. So that's one of the places where you can really brand. You see there that I have the name of my company, I have the LinkedIn logo, I have that I help coaches and consultants build success, and I also have my tagline, which is more lead, more clients, more revenue, more life. And so all of those things can be part of your brand or of your banner. I've seen things where people have an arrow pointing to, I could have my signature program is the LinkedIn, the lucrative LinkedIn system. I could have that and have a big arrow pointing through it and say, the lucrative LinkedIn system. And there's another place you can add that too. Now, over here, you have your photo. And what I would tell you is when you see that ring around my photo, if we were live on my photo right now, when you first went to my profile, you would see it kind of move. And that means there's a video. So when people click on that photo, they can see your video. They can choose to see your video, and that's a really good way of you know establishing kind of that conversational tone that you want. That's a really good way to let people understand what it would be like to be in a conversation with you, because let's face it, it's social selling, which is the kind of selling you do on social media, isn't that different from regular selling. People still have to know, like, and trust you. So that's a little bit of getting to know you and getting to like you, and then you can work on the trust as you're going through your profile. Now, right here, okay, so that's there. Right here, you see there's my name, and because I'm married, I have my given name, my birth name in there. And you can put things like your educational degrees. I have PhD. The And you can put, like, if you're a career management coach, you could write that out. Or if you're a consultant in a certain industry, you can write that out. What I would urge you not to do is to put all of your certifications initials there, because people don't know what they mean. So you can write something out, or you can expand on it in your headline, but I would not put just a whole bunch of initials after your name, because people don't know what they mean. So that's something that I want you to think about. And you see over to the right of that, it shows you, the name of your company. And also, it will have one of the schools. If you've gone to more than one school, it will choose one. And since my graduate work was at Florida State, that's what's showing up there. Okay, and then finally, there's your headline. Now, this is a big thing, because your headline, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about this in a minute, is what tells people who you are and what you do. And it's going to show up wherever you do something on LinkedIn. If you comment in your newsfeed, it's going to be there. If you post an article, it's going to be there. Everywhere you go on LinkedIn, that headline follows you. That's what people see. So in this one, and I change my headline up. so that you don't want it to be stagnant. You change things. So in this headline, I had certain keywords, master personal brand and digital branding strategist, LinkedIn trainer and coach. And then my tagline at that point was, I help coaches, consultants, and other professional service providers, actually it's personal service providers too, land their 100% right fit clients on demand. Now, we'll talk about that a little bit more. At the time, I only had 2,900 followers when I took this picture. And where you're seeing those hashtags, that has to do with creator mode. And I'm not going to go into that particularly. Those of you who want to publish content in, say, a daily newsletter on LinkedIn, or do live streams like I'm doing right now, or who want to do a podcast on LinkedIn, will want to turn on creator mode. There are a lot of advantages to creator mode, and one of them is that you can add hashtags. So that's what you're seeing there. But I'm not going to go any more into that right now. Okay, let's talk about that headline. And I want you to write down this formula. Title plus keywords plus sizzle. Your title has to be really explanatory. If your title is just CEO, CEO of what? CEO, when it shows up, doesn't tell people what you do. And if your company name is like mine is, Dumont and Associates, CEO, Dumont and Associates, doesn't tell you a darn thing about me. So you really want to put in there something that makes it clear. So I have one of my other ones that I've used at times: master personal and digital brand strategist, LinkedIn coach and trainer, helping coaches and consultants land lucrative leads without the sleeves. Okay, so that was my sizzle. Your sizzle is a tagline that attracts people to what you're doing. So you want that in there. Now, when you look at that title, there are a lot of keywords. Not master, but personal digital brand strategist. Those are all keywords. LinkedIn and coach and trainer are keywords. So a lot of keywords in there. Now, here's another one. Lawyer plus certified life coach to lawyers who are over the overwhelm and want to live lives with less stress but far more fulfillment. So this person is an attorney, okay? But they're also a certified life coach who works with lawyers to help them cut through that overwhelm and live lives that are just a lot less stressful and far more fulfilling. So that really tells you something about that individual. Okay, I'm going to show you two examples and then I'll stop and check for questions again. This is Randy Bussin. She is, I know Randy because we did our personal branding work together. She is a coach. She is also an MBA. And I want you to point out this great banner showing her in various ways that she works with clients, one-on-one in workshops. She's on the phone talking with people. And she gives you, a great headline. Oh, and her picture, her photo is perfect. Your photo should be taking up, about 80% of the frame should be your head and shoulders. You don't want one that's kind of way back here. You want it to be focused and right there. So it should be taking up about 80%. You should be looking into the camera, be professionally dressed, whatever your professional attire is. If you're in technology, it might be a polo shirt, and well, people wouldn't see your khakis, but a polo shirt would be fine in some areas. So so she's looking into the camera. Her makeup is professionally done. She's actually wearing her brand color. I happen to know that her brand color is blue, but you don't necessarily. My brand color is blue too, and I don't because it stands for knowledge and trust. I don't love to wear blue. So that's just one of the ways that she does it. But I want you to look at her headline. Trusted advisor, coach. Those are all, well, advisor and coach are both really good keywords for rising stars, execs, entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs is another keyword. Capitalize on strengths, illuminate your personal brand and return on investment, stand out and open doors. Now she's a career coach who works with, really high, rising and highfalutin, powerful executives. So, her banner is really clear. Whoops, I went in the wrong direction. Hold on. Here's another one. Now, Dib is another person that I know who is a master personal brand strategist, and her brand color is, surprise, orange. And orange means you're energetic and you bring a lot of enthusiasm to everything, and that is Deb. And if you look at her photo, it just conveys that. I mean, everything about her is energy. And she does something kind of unique. She's a brand storyteller, and she really works, primarily with career people, career coaches, and she edits and polishes their work. She doesn't necessarily, write things for them. She helps them, really take it over the end. Really make it stand out, tighten it up, and make it powerful. So, her headline is brand storyteller, editor, polisher. Brand storyteller and editor are all keywords, and brand and storyteller are really, really, particularly storyteller right now, really hot. And personal brand strategist is also a really hot key phrase that she's got in her title there. So, polisher, writing strategy coach. I help busy, gutsy career pros get unstuck, meaning with their writing. Fast, fun, done. And that is Deb. That's how she does it. So that is another really good example. I'm going to stop here for just a second. Does anybody have any questions here? I'm looking up, to see if you have any. Well, I will stay on at the end too. So, anything that you have to ask, I just want to keep checking in with you and making sure that that we are focusing on that. So let me get back to my presentation here. Okay, come on. Okay, so we left off at Dib. Okay, let's talk about branding your about section. And I want you to really take notes here. I want you to write this down because it's very, very important. Your about section used to be called the summary section, but about really is more effective. I think it conveys what LinkedIn wants you to do. Because remember, LinkedIn is all about engagement and relationship building. That is what they're rewarding. They want to facilitate that engagement. And there are all kinds of changes that have taken place on LinkedIn over the last, 6 months to 2 years that really reinforce all of this. So I wish I could just do everything with you tonight, but I do want to talk about the about section because that is really important. Whoops, come on. So the first thing I want you to remember is to know your why, because your brand story tells your why. People want to know, they want to know why you want to help them. They want to know what you've overcome. If you've ever watched the TED Talk with Simon Sinek, he talks about your big why. And that is just so, so important. So write that down. Include your personal brand statement. And we don't have enough time to do this today, but I will absolutely do it in my free masterclass at the end of the month. So stay tuned for that. You want to identify keywords, and there are a number of ways to do it. One is simply to go look at the profiles of, 5 to 10 people that you really, really admire, who really stand out to you and are experts in your field. Look at the common words they're using. Do not copy what they do, but get those keywords. Start seeing if there are similarities. Another way is to go to your skills section and to look at, start typing in words. Like for instance, I could go to my skills section and do add a skill and type in, say, personal, and it would come up with personal branding. So I would know that that's a keyword. So you definitely want to identify those keywords. Tell your story. That's part of that. Know your why. Be crystal clear about your niche. Now, like I said, we are all at different places in our usage of LinkedIn. So you may have an absolutely clear niche. You may have a target audience. I know that I work with coaches, consultants, and other service providers, and I'm constantly refining that, to look at, who really wants my services and who can I really help. And so I've gotten to know some of not only the demographics, but kind of where they are in their entrepreneurial adventure, and gaining that kind of clarity. And you only get that through trial and error. You always have to be testing that. And I'm not saying that every day you have to go in and test it, but check in, kind of look at your metrics every once in a while and see how you're doing. Excuse me. Okay. Focus on their pain points. And this was what I was talking about when I said it's all about them. You want to lead with their challenges, their problems. And I usually just suggest there's a power in 3. So if you can identify the 3 main problems or challenges they're experiencing then you could say something like, my clients have the following things in common. Like for my clients, one of those would be, finding their ideal clients on LinkedIn, how to prospect and find those people. So you want to, really get clear on what those problems and challenges are. Consider including snippets of recommendations. Now, on LinkedIn, your recommendations are all the way down at the bottom. People have to really go down to see whether they are interested in you. Whereas you can put, like 1 to 2 lines. You don't want to put a whole recommendation there, but put 1 to 2 lines of, one that was cool. And it doesn't have to be from LinkedIn. Maybe it's something you have on your website, or maybe it's a recommendation that came from somewhere else. And you can just put, I teach people how to use a particular branding survey. And it may be, that you had a comment on your survey, that you can pull out, and you can just identify the first name and, where they're from. You can, put the first name and what kind of business they're in or what their expertise is in. So, just consider pulling up some of those snippets, because that adds a lot of credence. Every time you can offer what we call social proof, every time, and I've got to hurry here, I'm going to run out of time. Every time you can offer that, that's other people saying that you do what you say you do. Okay, present your solutions, and that's the next step. And then tell them what to do next. That's your call to action. Okay, let's keep going, because I don't want, I will hang around as long as you have questions, but I want to get through all this for you. Okay, your featured section. Now, your featured section is going to show up whether you have creator mode or not. It just shows up in a different place. And you can also do this with your experience section. You want to put things in your featured section. And what I would suggest, this is actually before I put in a lead magnet on my profile, but you're going to want to have maybe one article, or maybe it's a video about your company or of you talking. And then if you have a lead magnet, if you have a free gift, you want to focus it there. But you want things to be, you want to give some inkling more into your personality. Like, here's one of me, behind a mask because I live in a 113-year-old house and I am constantly stripping woodwork. And so I use that article to talk about branding. So, you want to raise people's curiosity. You want them to get to know you, all those kinds of things. Okay, here are 4 tips. Write these down. 4 tips for your experience section. When you get into experience, this is not a resume. You are not restricted to only having one thing in one time frame. If you have 2 different niches, you can have 2 different experience sections, same time frame, same company, but you're highlighting different things in terms of services. Okay, so you can use your experience section to really present your profile in a really powerful way. Okay, you want to optimize your headlines just like you did for your entire profile. You want to optimize your headlines in your experience sections with keywords and making a statement about your brand, who you help, how you help them, what happens when you do. That's a good thing. Offer some value there. Tell them why. Emphasize the results you provide and reinforce that with social proof available. Once again, put a snippet in there, and really keep emphasizing what people think about you. And then here's where you can include another call to action. So you can really maximize and optimize that experience section. Okay, I'm not going to go heavily into the rest of this because they are much more self-explanatory. Education, you just want to be really, really specific. If you're saying you have a certain degree, make sure that's what the university or college that you graduated from, calls it. You don't want to have the wrong major in there. Make sure it's correct. And those kinds of things. You do not have to put the year that you graduated. Okay. If you're worried about people thinking that you just graduated or that you graduated, when the dinosaurs were roaming the earth, you don't have to put your year. Okay, certifications and licensures, same thing. Make sure that they are very specific. And in certain fields, those licensures are golden. So you need to make sure they're in there. Accomplishments, and these are things that you've done that may add, more expertise. Maybe you published a book. Maybe like I haven't even put it in mind. I was just in a I only did a chapter in it, but an international bestseller. So I haven't even put that in there yet. So you want to put accomplishments. Maybe you learn 4 languages, you speak 4 languages, whatever that is, you can put that there. Skills and endorsements. Now, skills and endorsements are another form of social proof of other people, endorsing you and saying that, you really have these skills. And so that's one of the things. The best way to get endorsements is to go to other people's profiles that you're connected with and endorse them. And very often they will endorse you back. That can be part of your first response to them if they invite you to connect. Hey, thanks for inviting me to connect. I just endorsed you on these 3 skills, So really important. Recommendations, that social proof. And I suggest that you ask someone for a recommendation every month because, what's more impressive, 150 recommendations, but there hasn't been one in the last 10 years, or, some recent ones, in the last 1 to 2 years are going to be much more impressive. And I'm like, I know I'm like the shoemaker's kids. I do it, and then I forget for a while, and then I do it again. So try and, put it on your calendar, and do that fairly frequently. If you don't feel comfortable with, you know, once a month, every 2 or 3 months, whatever makes you comfortable, but keep going after recommendations. And finally, interest, because interest, gives some people something that they can say to connect with you. And it also tells them that you have certain things in common with them. Okay. So I'm going to go through these tips really quickly because I want to be able to answer any questions, but write these down and they will also be in the replay. I will send you the slide deck also, PDF of that. So you will get this, but it helps reinforce it if you write it down. Know your niche. We talked about that. Use a conversational tone. I come out of higher ed. It was really hard for me to not write academic speak for a long time. You don't want that. You want to be conversational. You want people to think they're in a conversation with you. Use the right keywords, brand your headlines, up your Google juice. Google and LinkedIn both love images. And there's only one thing they love more than images, and that's moving images. So if you are not comfortable with video yet, practice with Zoom. Just take lots of videos with yourself and get comfortable with it. You should have seen me the first time I did a live stream. Oh my gosh. I've done like 177 of them now, so I'm much more confident in front of video. But the first times were just horrible. Okay, another tip: avoid keyword stuffing. Because they chop up your sections. People can't read really well, and don't list them at the bottom like list the keywords as specialties, because search engines don't work that way anymore. We used to tell people to do that, but now they look at the context, at the sentence that they're appearing in. So use them where they occur naturally, but just use them throughout your profile. Filling out, using all the space you have for your profile in your about section and your experience sections really gives you more of an opportunity to use keywords. So it really ups your Google juice. Okay, maximize your branded content. Take advantage of that. Consider using creator mode. Optimize your profile with multimedia. And then finally, include your calendar in your website links so that people can make an appointment with you if they want to. So really quickly, I will send you the link to this, but you can get my essential LinkedIn checklist. It's my free gift to you. And it does come with, over the next few days after you opt in, it comes with some further tips on how you can use it. And you can see the link there. You will also get that when I send out the replay. So you're not going to lose it. And then finally, if you really want to explore more about LinkedIn, I do have some of you have been asking me when I do the lucrative LinkedIn system. I see 2 of you who have already been through the course who are on here, and once you pay for my course, you can take it again as many times as you want because things keep changing. So at the very least, check in and get that update, and look at what the different classes are that we're doing and what we're focusing on that week, and you can take it again. So you really want to be able to, and you really can, if you get systematic about it, attract, engage, and convert your ideal clients in 15 minutes a day. Now, if you're just starting out and setting up your system, it'll take you a little while to get it set up, but you learn how to do that really fast. So I am going to get rid of this. Oh, come on. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. No, it is stopped. Okay. Can y'all? Okay. So, oh, look at that. Now, Mark, I'm not sure to pronounce your name, but I'm not sure why you're putting links to things in the chat. Um, I don't know whether you're asking for comment on that or what. I'm not sure what that is. Debbie, okay. Maybe, oh, your college is now a university. Do you put in the new name or the old name? Um, I would, yeah, I would, if you're showing the diploma, you can show the diploma. You can also say, you can put, something in there that says, it's the name has changed. It's now such and such university, and link to it that way. So, that's okay. Anyway, that's I'm getting distracted by those questions. Okay, Mike. Um, seeing the stream recycle to the start. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Mike. Could you be more specific? Okay. Gloria, yeah, you are going to get the information. If you are a first degree connection with me, we can send it out via LinkedIn. If not, then we will send the information on the replay, and all the resources to the email address that you have posted on LinkedIn. It does not subscribe you to my newsletter. You can opt into my newsletter, but it literally sends you're opting into the events. So it does that. Okay. Debbie, I answered yours. Lexi, so good to see you. You had to jump off, but good to see you. I hope you get the replay. So anyway, everyone, that's what's going on now. The workshop that I mentioned that's at the end of the month is called Build Your Brand in Bits and Bytes, and I will send out the link to that with the replay. So I will make sure that you get the links to the two upcoming workshops. The next one is on social selling, how you sell on LinkedIn. And then the one after that is build your brand in bits and bytes. And that's, personal branding and how to promote your brand on LinkedIn. That's a 3-hour masterclass, and I'm offering it for free. So lots of value. I want to thank everyone for being here. I just love this, and I love the interactions. So if you have friends that might benefit, please, feel free to invite them to join us. So Dumont Owen saying ta-ta for now.